Hi everyone, this is the video that I told you guys that I was going to put up. I just want to get it over with because I feel like this is very important right now. All of you once saved, always saved really need to pay strict attention to this video. And as for the rest of you, I am going to be in the Complete Jewish Bible, Insights for Jews and Christians. So if you can find this, online and read along, that would be best. I am going to read along with you in it. If you want to use your King James Version of the Bible, that is your choice, but it's just not going to be worded the same. Just warning you ahead of time. So let's flip on this slide. And we're going to be in Genesis first. So get your Bible ready to the book of Genesis at the beginning there. And we're going to go to chapter 26. We're going to read verses 1 to 5. 26, starting in verse 1. A famine came over the land, not the same as the first famine which had taken place when Abraham was alive. Yitzhak went to Gerar to Abimelech, king of the Philistine. Adonai appeared to him and said, "Don't go down into Egypt, but live where I tell you. Stay in this land, and I will be with you and bless you, because I will give all these lands to you and to your descendants. I will fulfill the oath which I swore to Abraham, your father. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. I will give all these lands to your descendants, and by your descendants all the nations of the earth will bless themselves." Now, here's the kicker. Are you paying attention in verse 5? All this because Abraham heeded what I said and did what I told him to do. He followed my commandments, mitzvot, my regulations, and my teachings. Okay? Everybody got that? All right, so let's go to, I want to leave my bookmarks in, so give me a second here. I don't want to lose my places in case I have to start over for any reason. Now, the next book we're going to be in is going to be the Book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel, as you guys know it. We're going to be in chapter 36. We're going to read verses 25 and 27. Ready? Then I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will put my spirit inside you and cause you to live by my laws. Respect my rulings and obey them. Okay. Like I said, I don't want to lose my places, so I'm putting my bookmarks back in as I go here. Give me a second. We're going to go over to the book of Matthew. Okay. We're going to be in Matthew chapter 5. We're going to read verses 17 through 20. Don't think that I have come to abolish the Torah or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to complete. Yes, indeed, I tell you that until heaven and earth pass away. Has that happened yet? No. Not so much as a yod or a stroke will pass from the Torah. That means it still stands. Not until everything that must happen has happened. Has everything happened yet? No. So whoever disobeys the least of these mitzvot or commands and teaches others to do so will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever obeys them and teaches will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Okay? Let's continue. Hold on, guys. Here, I don't want to lose my places here. Hold on. In case I have to go back to them for any reason. Okay. Let's now go to Matthew chapter 7. And let's read in verse 15. Actually, let's go down to verse 21. Okay? Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Only those who do what my Father in heaven wants. On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we expel demons in your name? Didn't we perform many miracles in your name? Now, a lot of these people are the prosperity gospel people who are trying to get money out of people. Okay, they cast out demons, they perform, they heal people, they do all these things in his name. Then I will tell them to their faces, I never knew you. Get away from me, you workers of lawlessness. Now, there are couple groups of people that are going to be standing before God and hearing this. It's going to be number one, the unbelievers. Number two, the prosperity gospel people. And number three, people who think they are saved and think they are Christians who are not. People who think they are covered by the blood and they are not. And why are they not? And they're trying to say, well, we did all these things. We preached from our cars and we did all these things for you. But he's going to say, that doesn't matter. You didn't keep my laws. Do you see that? You who work iniquity. Okay? Those are people who are living in their sins and they don't care. And they're just saying, well, I'll get in because I believe. Okay? Let's continue. All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 19 verses. We're going to start in verse 16. And start reading. We're going to go 16 to 19. Ready? A man approached Yeshua and said, Rabbi, what good thing should I do in order to have eternal life? He said to him, why are you asking me about good? There is one who is good. But if you want to obtain eternal life, observe the mitzvot, the commandments. The man... Okay, and then it goes on... So basically, I just want to show you there that, if we want to receive eternal life, we must obey the commandments. Okay? With emphasis on the two. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. But if you're keeping those two commandments, then you should be keeping all the rest of them too. You break one, you break them all. Okay, ready? We're going to be in John. Go to John chapter 14. We're going to start at verse 15. One second. Okay. We're going to read verses 15, 21, 22, and 24. 22 to 24. Okay. If you love me, you will do what? You will keep my commands. And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another comforting counselor like me, the Spirit of truth, to be with you forever. Say 15. Okay, I guess we read 16 too. We were only supposed to read 15. Okay, the point is that it says, if you love God, you'll keep his commands. Okay? Basically, when we receive his Spirit, that Spirit gives us the power to keep those commands. Okay? So, if you want to include verse 16, that is the meaning. Now, if you want to go down to verse 21, we're going to read verse 21. Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. And the one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and reveal myself to him. So the only ones he reveals himself to, who are in him, who belong to him, who are washed in the blood, are those who have his commands and keep them. It's very clear, you guys, right there. All right, let's go down to verse 24. Let's see, 20, I'm sorry here, 20, 22 to 24. Okay. Go to verse 22. Yehuda, not the one from Kirot, said to him, "What has happened, Lord, that you are about to reveal yourself to us and not to the world?" Yeshua answered him, "If someone loves me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him." Someone who doesn't love me doesn't keep my words. Okay, and it just goes on to say, "And the word you are hearing is not my own, but that of the Father who sent me." Okay, so let's go to the next one I want to read to you. Let me check. We just read John 14. Yes, okay. Let's go to Romans chapter 2. Let's go to Romans chapter 2. Let's go to verse 5. We're going to read 5 to 15, okay? "But by your stubbornness, by your unrepentant heart, you are storing up anger for yourself on the day of anger when God's righteous judgment will be revealed. For he will pay back each one according to his deeds. Those who seek glory, honor, and immortality by perseverance in doing good, he will pay back eternal life. But to those who are self-seeking, who disobey the truth and obey evil, he will pay back wrath and anger. Yes, he will pay back misery and anguish to every human being who does evil, to the Jew first, then to the Gentile." Let me see how long we have to read here. Through 15, okay? "But glory and honor and shalom to everyone who keeps doing what is good, to the Jew first, then to the Gentile. For God does not show favoritism. All who have sinned outside the framework of Torah will die outside the framework of Torah. And all who have sinned within the framework of Torah, in other words, those who are trying to keep just the law by itself without the blood atonement, will be judged by that Torah." Do you see that? All right, let's see. Now, how far do we have to read here? To 15. Okay, let's keep going. Okay. Lost my place. "For it is not merely the hearers of Torah whom God considers righteous. Rather, it is the doers of what Torah says, who will be made righteous in God's sight." So you once saved, always saved, we're the righteousness of Christ. What did I just read to you? Okay? "For whenever Gentiles who have no Torah," let's see, let's go back to 14. "For whenever Gentiles who have no Torah do naturally what the Torah requires, then these, even though they don't have Torah for themselves are Torah. For their lives show the conduct the Torah dictates is written in their hearts. For their lives show that the conduct the Torah dictates is written in their hearts. So if it's in your heart, you will be acting it out. Okay? I hope you guys understood those verses. All right, so let's go to the next one I want to read to you is Romans chapter 3. We're going to go to Romans chapter 3. We're going to read verse 19. We're going to read 19 to 28 and then verse 31. You ready? Moreover, we know, I don't want to 19 to 28. Okay. Let's see where 28. That goes to the next page. Okay. Moreover, we know that whatever the Torah says, it says to those living within the framework of the Torah. That means the ones who are just keeping the Torah without the blood atonement, in order that every mouth may be stopped and the whole world be shown to deserve God's adverse judgment. For in his sight, no one alive will be considered righteous on the ground of legalistic observance of Torah commands, because what Torah really does is show people how sinful they are. So in other words, you cannot be justified by just the Torah alone. But now, quite apart from Torah, God's way of making people righteous in his sight has been made clear, although the Torah and the prophets give their witness to it as well. And it is a righteousness that comes from God through the faithfulness of Yeshua, the Messiah, to all who continue trusting. For it makes no difference whether one is a Jew or a Gentile, since all have sinned and come short of earning God's praise. So this is saying, you can't be justified by just the Torah by itself. You have to have the blood atonement with it. Because remember what I just read to you before, right? What the verses we just went over before these. Sorry about that. I cut off the sentence here. By God's grace, without earning it, all are granted the status of being considered righteous before him through the act redeeming us from our enslavement to sin that was accomplished by the Messiah Yeshua. Okay, let's see, I'm supposed to read through verse 24. Yeah. Okay. So now let's go to hold on here, you guys. Okay, I think I wanted to read, I left out verse 31. I wanted to also include verse 31 in that. Yeah, 19 to 28. Oh, okay, so we can keep reading. Sorry, you guys. I've got so much to cover. You just have to bear with me and be patient. So let's continue reading. God put Yeshua forward as the kapparah for sin through his faithfulness in respect to his bloody sacrificial death. This vindicated God's righteousness because in his forbearance he had passed over with neither punishment nor remission the sins people had committed in the past, and it vindicates his righteousness in the present age by showing that he is righteous himself, and it is also the one who makes people righteous on the ground of Yeshua's faithfulness. So what room is left for boasting? None at all. What kind of Torah excludes it? One that has to do with legalistic observance of rules? No, rather a Torah that has to do with trusting. Therefore, we hold the view that a person comes to be considered righteous by God on the ground of trusting, which has nothing to do with legalistic observance of Torah commands. Now, what this is trying to tell you is that we no longer can keep just and only the law That is not going to save us. We have to have this trusting in Yeshua's blood so that when we break his law, we can be forgiven for it. It does not say we throw out the law. Okay? So I said through verse 28. So we're going to read verse 31. And it says, does it follow that we abolish the Torah? Now see here, does it follow that we abolish the Torah by this trusting? Then it goes on to say, heaven forbid. On the contrary, we confirm Torah. Do you see that? That is telling you that we still have to keep the Torah. We don't throw out the Torah. It just means that we can't no longer be judged by just the Torah, because now we have the blood atonement to forgive us. When we break that Torah, we have Jesus to come to and ask for forgiveness. He shed his blood atonement for that very thing. Do you understand? Do you guys understand that better? And I'm sorry I got real confused with these. I'm getting confused with these chapters and verses, but I got a lot written down here and a lot to cover. So now we're going to go to Romans chapter 7. Hold on, you guys. All right. I took out 2 of my bookmarks. I hope I don't have to find those scriptures again. Okay. It's habit. Romans chapter 7. We're going to read verses 7 and 12. Seven and 12. Therefore, what are we to say? That the Torah is sinful? That the Torah is sinful? Heaven forbid. Rather, the function of the Torah was that without it, the function of the Torah was that without it, I would not have known what sin is. Go down to verse 12. Okay, I'm trying to get the camera on it. So the Torah is holy. That is, the commandment is holy, just, and good. Okay? Romans chapter 8. Let's go to Romans chapter 8 and read that. I just want to see what else is on this page, you guys. Hold on one second. Okay. I don't want to lose my markers here, because if I have to go back to anything, I'm going to be in trouble. Okay, Romans chapter 8. Let's go. We're going to read verses 4 through 9. 4 through 9. So that the just requirement of the Torah might be fulfilled in us who do not run our lives according to what our old nature wants, but according to what the Spirit wants. For those who identify with their old nature set their minds on the things of the old nature, but those who identify with the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit. Hold on, you guys. I want to see if that's all I have to read here. 4 to 9. Having one's mind controlled by the old nature is death, but having one's mind controlled by the Spirit is life and shalom. For the mind controlled by the old nature is hostile to God because it does not submit itself to God's Torah. Indeed, it cannot. Thus, those who identify with their old nature cannot please God, cannot please Those who identify with their old nature cannot please God. But you do not identify with your old nature, but with the Spirit, provided... I'm sorry. I'm losing my place again. Thus, those who identify with their old nature cannot please... Yes, we read that. Okay. But you who do not identify with your old nature, but with the Spirit, provided the Spirit of God is living inside you. For anyone who doesn't have the Spirit of the Messiah doesn't belong to him. All right. These might be hard things to hear, but they're so true. Okay, we're going to go to now Yaakov, James, chapter 2. And we're going to be we're going to read verses 14 to 20 and 26. So 14 to 20. What good is it, my brothers, if someone claims to have faith but has no actions to prove it? Is such faith able to save him? Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food, and someone says to him, "Shalom, keep warm and eat hearty," without giving him what he needs. What good does it do? Thus, faith by itself, unaccompanied by actions, is dead. But someone will say that you have faith and I have actions. Show me this faith of yours without the actions. Once saved, always saved. And I will show you my faith by my actions. You believe that God is one? Good for you. The demons believe it too. The thought makes them shudder with fear. In other words, even the demons believe and tremble. Once saved, always saved. But foolish fellow, do you want to be shown that such faith, apart from actions, is barren? Wasn't Abraham Avinu declared righteous because of actions when he offered up his son Yitzhak on the altar? You see that his faith worked with his actions. By the actions, the faith was made complete. Okay, so, and the passage of the Tanakh was fulfilled, which says, Abraham had faith in God, and it was credited to his account as righteousness. Okay, they like to bring that up, don't they? The once saved, always saved. But the point is, you're declared righteous by your actions. That's the whole point of that. Let's read verse 26. Indeed, just as the body without a spirit is dead, so too, faith without actions is dead. Once saved, always saved. All right. Am I becoming more clear to everyone now on that side of the fence? Let's go to Yochanan chapter 5 and read verses 2 to 4. Here's how we know that we love God's children. In other words, each other. When we love God, we also do what he commands. For loving God means obeying his commands. Moreover, his commands are not burdensome. So once saved, always saved, especially you popular Grace girly on YouTube with 50,000 subscribers, you know who you are and everybody else knows who you are too. Stop saying that God's law is a burden. It is not. You disrespect God for saying that. And guys, we're done. So I'm going to end this video. I want you all to go back and study all those scriptures, pray about them, and ask for discernment. I believe you will see very clearly that it is not enough just to believe. Okay, and I've read through the Bible in numerous books in here that is not true. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section. This video is going long enough. I'm ending it. I am going to do a video on Psalm 119, so stay tuned.